Have you ever stopped to think about the foods you eat every day? The snacks in your pantry, the meals you prepare for your family, or the quick bites you grab on the go? Most of us trust that what we eat is safe, especially if it's marketed as healthy or comes from a well-known brand. But what if I told you that some of these foods could be slowly harming your body, even when they seem harmless or beneficial? Every day, millions of people unknowingly consume ingredients that can lead to long-term health problems. These aren't exotic or rare foods. They're the staples of modern diets, the ones we buy without a second thought. From colorful breakfast cereals and diet sodas to frozen meals and even so-called organic snacks, the hidden dangers in these products are shocking. The truth is, many of these foods contain harmful chemicals, preservatives, and additives that could be silently affecting your health. One of the biggest problems is how cleverly these ingredients are disguised. Take, for example, the innocent-looking sugar-free drinks. Many people turn to these beverages as a healthier alternative to sugary sodas. But did you know that artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose have been linked to digestive issues, headaches, and even long-term metabolic disorders? These sweeteners may save you a few calories, but at what cost to your health? Another common culprit is processed foods. The convenience of a quick meal or snack often comes at the expense of your body's well-being. Many processed foods are loaded with trans fats, high fructose corn syrup, and excessive sodium, ingredients designed to enhance flavor and extend shelf life. Over time, these can contribute to serious health issues like heart disease, high blood pressure, and obesity. The scariest part? These foods are often marketed as family-friendly or wholesome. Even foods labeled as natural or organic aren't always what they seem. Marketing buzzwords like all natural can be misleading, tricking consumers into believing a product is healthy when, in reality, it's filled with hidden sugars, excessive fats, or questionable additives. A quick look at the ingredient list might reveal substances you can't even pronounce. If you can't identify what's in your food, how can you trust it? So why are these harmful ingredients allowed in our food? The answer lies in the food industry itself. Many corporations prioritize profits over public health, cutting corners to create cheaper, longer-lasting products. Meanwhile, government regulations often lag behind the latest scientific research, allowing questionable substances to remain on shelves. But here's the good news. You don't have to feel helpless. By becoming more aware of what you're putting into your body, you can start making better choices. Throughout this video, we'll uncover the hidden dangers lurking in everyday foods, break down the science behind their effects on your health, and give you practical tips to protect yourself and your family. Stay tuned as we expose the shocking truth about the food you eat every day. It might just change the way you look at your next meal. The hidden dangers in processed foods. Processed foods are everywhere, from the colorful bags of chips at the grocery store to the frozen dinners that promise convenience after a long day. They've become staples of modern life. But have you ever stopped to think about what's really inside these foods? Beneath the appealing packaging and bold flavor claims lies a cocktail of ingredients that could be wreaking havoc on your body. At first glance, processed foods seem harmless. After all, they're designed to taste good, last longer, and save you time. But here's the problem. Many processed foods are packed with ingredients that our bodies were never meant to consume in such quantities. One of the biggest offenders? Trans fats. These fats, often found in baked goods, fried foods, and margarine, were originally created to increase shelf life. However, they've since been linked to serious health issues, including heart disease, inflammation, and even an increased risk of stroke. And it doesn't stop there. High fructose corn syrup, a cheap and common sweetener, is another ingredient hiding in plain sight. Found in everything from sodas to salad dressings, this syrup is sweeter than sugar and cheaper to produce. While it might make your food taste better, it can also lead to insulin resistance, weight gain, and an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. The worst part? It's often listed under different names on ingredient labels, making it difficult to avoid. Then there's sodium, an essential mineral that becomes dangerous when consumed in excess. Many processed foods are loaded with sodium, not just for flavor, but also as a preservative. While your body needs a small amount to function, too much sodium can lead to high blood pressure, kidney damage, and increased risk of heart disease. It's not just salty snacks that are the culprits. Frozen meals, canned soups, and even some breakfast cereals are guilty of hiding excessive amounts of sodium. What makes these ingredients so dangerous isn't just their individual effects, but the fact that they're often consumed together in large amounts. A single processed meal can easily contain high levels of trans fats, sugar, and sodium, creating a perfect storm for long-term health issues. The worst part? These ingredients are carefully engineered to make foods addictive, leaving you craving more and more. So why do we keep consuming processed foods? Part of the answer lies in how they're marketed. Terms like low-fat, gluten-free, and natural give the impression that these products are healthy when, in reality, they're often just as harmful as their regular counterparts. The bold flavors and convenience blind us to the risks, and before we know it, these foods become a regular part of our diets. But don't worry, there's a way out. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into specific foods that are often found in pantries and fridges around the world, exposing how they contribute to chronic diseases and what you can do to avoid them. Stay tuned because understanding these hidden dangers is just the first step to protecting your health and taking back control of your diet. Foods that trigger chronic diseases. Did you know that some of the most common foods in your kitchen could be silently contributing to chronic diseases? From heart disease to diabetes and even cancer, the link between diet and long-term health is undeniable. Yet many of the foods we consume daily, often without a second thought, are loaded with harmful ingredients that could be taking a toll on your body over time. Let's start with sugary beverages. From sodas to flavored juices, these drinks are often marketed as refreshing and harmless. But they're anything but. High sugar content in these beverages causes rapid spikes in blood sugar levels, overworking your pancreas, and paving the way for insulin resistance. Over time, this can lead to type 2 diabetes and other metabolic disorders. But the problem doesn't end there. Excess sugar also increases inflammation, a root cause of numerous chronic conditions, including heart disease and cancer. Next on the list are refined carbohydrates like white bread, pasta, and pastries. These foods may be convenient and delicious, but they lack the fiber and nutrients found in whole grains. When consumed, refined carbs are quickly broken down into sugar, leading to blood sugar spikes similar to those caused by sugary drinks. Frequent consumption of these empty calories can contribute to obesity, a major risk factor for several chronic diseases. Another culprit: processed meats such as bacon, sausages, and deli meats. While they're popular breakfast and lunch staples, processed meats have been classified as carcinogenic by the World Health Organization. They're often packed with preservatives like nitrates and nitrites, which can form harmful compounds when cooked. Regular consumption of these meats has been linked to an increased risk of colorectal cancer and heart disease. Fried and fast foods are also on the list of offenders. These foods are not only high in unhealthy trans fats, but also low in essential nutrients, making them a double threat. The high-calorie content of fast foods contributes to weight gain, while the trans fats increase bad cholesterol levels, raising the risk of heart disease. And let's not forget about packaged snacks like chips and cookies. While they're great for satisfying a craving, these snacks are often loaded with artificial flavors, colors, and preservatives. Many of these additives have been linked to health problems ranging from hormonal imbalances to increased cancer risk. The addictive nature of these snacks also means it's easy to consume far more than intended, further amplifying their negative effects. So what can you do to protect yourself? The first step is awareness. By identifying the foods that pose the greatest risk to your health, you can start making more informed choices. In the next chapter, we'll explore the role of additives and chemicals hidden in these foods, uncovering how they are allowed in our diets and what they're really doing to our bodies. Stay tuned because understanding the science behind these ingredients is essential for taking control of your health. The role of additives and chemicals. When you think about the food you eat every day, you might picture fresh fruits, vegetables, and wholesome meals. But for many of us, a significant portion of our diet comes from packaged and processed foods. What we often overlook is the cocktail of additives and chemicals hiding in these products. Ingredients designed not for your health, but to make foods last longer, look better, and taste irresistible. Additives and chemicals have become staples in the food industry, used to enhance flavor, preserve freshness, and maintain color. But what impact do these substances have on your health? Let's start with artificial preservatives, such as sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate. While these chemicals keep food from spoiling, they can also disrupt your body's natural processes. Studies have shown that some preservatives may contribute to inflammation, which is a precursor to chronic conditions like heart disease and arthritis. Another category of concern is artificial colors and flavors. These are synthetic compounds added to make foods look more appealing or mimic natural tastes. For example, bright-colored candies and neon drinks owe their appearance to dyes like Red 40 or Yellow 5. While these may seem harmless, research has linked certain artificial dyes to hyperactivity in children and potential carcinogenic effects. Similarly, artificial flavors often contain multiple chemical compounds that are poorly understood, raising questions about their long-term impact on health. MSG, monosodium glutamate, a flavor enhancer commonly used in snacks, instant noodles, and restaurant foods, is another controversial additive. While it's recognized as safe in small amounts, some individuals report symptoms like headaches, nausea, and chest pain after consuming foods containing MSG. The long-term effects of regular MSG consumption remain a topic of ongoing research, but its presence in so many products is a cause for concern. Let's not forget emulsifiers and stabilizers, which are added to improve texture and consistency. While these ingredients might make your ice cream creamier or your salad dressing smoother, they can also alter gut bacteria, potentially leading to digestive issues and other health problems. One of the most alarming aspects of additives and chemicals is how cleverly they're hidden. Terms like natural flavors or spices on ingredient lists often mask a mix of synthetic chemicals. Without transparency, it becomes nearly impossible to know what you're truly consuming. The question is, why are these additives allowed in our food in the first place? The answer lies in regulatory loopholes and the influence of the food industry. Many additives are approved based on outdated research or small-scale studies that fail to capture their long-term effects. Meanwhile, companies prioritize profits over health, adding these ingredients to create products that are cheaper to produce and more addictive to consumers. So how can you avoid these hidden dangers? In the next chapter, we'll reveal how overconsumption of these additives can escalate their risks, even with seemingly healthy foods. You'll learn how to identify these chemicals on labels and take steps to reduce your exposure. Stay with us. It's time to take back control of what's on your plate. How overconsumption makes it worse. It's no secret that processed foods, additives, and chemicals can harm your health. But what if the real danger isn't just in the ingredients themselves, but in how much we consume? Over time, overconsumption of certain foods and additives can magnify their negative effects, turning occasional indulgences into serious health risks. The scary part? Many of us don't even realize how much we're consuming. Take, for example, sodium. It's a necessary nutrient that helps regulate fluid balance and nerve function. But in processed foods, sodium is used in such high quantities that it's almost impossible to avoid overconsumption. One serving of canned soup or frozen pizza can contain more sodium than your recommended daily intake. Over time, this overload can strain your kidneys, raise your blood pressure, and increase your risk of heart disease and stroke. Another example is sugar, found not only in obvious culprits like candy and desserts, but also hidden in healthy foods like yogurt, granola bars, and even bread. The average person consumes far more sugar than they realize, thanks to its many disguises on food labels. High fructose corn syrup, dextrose, and maltose, to name a few. Over time, excess sugar consumption leads to weight gain, insulin resistance, and inflammation, all of which pave the way for chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease. And what about trans fats? These artificial fats are found in baked goods, fried foods, and margarine. While many countries have begun banning or limiting their use, trans fats can still lurk in some products, especially imported ones. Regular consumption of trans fats increases bad cholesterol, LDL, while lowering good cholesterol, HDL, leading to clogged arteries and a significantly higher risk of heart disease. The problem with overconsumption doesn't stop at these ingredients. Many additives, such as preservatives, artificial flavors, and emulsifiers, are generally considered safe when consumed in small amounts. But what happens when you eat multiple processed foods every day, each containing these additives? The cumulative effect can overwhelm your body, leading to digestive issues, hormonal imbalances, and even changes in your gut microbiome, which plays a critical role in overall health. Overconsumption is not just about eating too much of one thing. It's about how processed foods encourage habitual overeating. These products are engineered to be addictive, with the perfect balance of salt, sugar, and fat to keep you craving more. As a result, portion control becomes a challenge, and many people end up consuming far more than they intended. The good news is that breaking this cycle is possible. By becoming aware of the risks and understanding how to recognize overconsumption, you can take back control of your diet. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the deceptive marketing tactics used by the food industry to make these products appear healthier than they really are, and how you can outsmart them. Stay tuned because the food labels you trust might not be telling the full story. The misleading labels on healthy foods. How often do you pick up a product at the grocery store because it claims to be low-fat, natural, or heart-healthy? Many of us trust these labels, believing they guarantee a healthier choice. But what if those labels are just clever marketing tricks designed to make unhealthy foods seem better for you? The truth is, the food industry has perfected the art of deception, and these labels might not mean what you think they do. Let's start with one of the most misleading terms: low fat. For decades, we've been told that fat is the enemy, and products labeled as low fat or fat-free are healthier options. But here's the catch. When manufacturers remove fat from food, they often replace it with sugar, artificial flavors, or other additives to make up for the lost taste. As a result, low-fat products can contain just as many calories and sometimes more sugar than their full-fat counterparts. So while you think you're making a healthier choice, you could be consuming something even worse for your body. Another common trap is the word natural. This term creates the illusion of purity and health, but it's one of the least regulated claims in the food industry. A product labeled natural can still contain processed sugars, artificial flavors, and even chemical additives. For example, a natural fruit drink might contain only a small percentage of actual fruit juice, with the rest made up of water, sweeteners, and preservatives. The label sounds wholesome, but the reality is far from it. And then there's whole grain. Many products proudly display this label, leading consumers to believe they're packed with fiber and nutrients. However, the term whole grain can be used even if the product contains mostly refined flour with just a small percentage of whole grains. That loaf of bread labeled whole grain might still cause the same blood sugar spikes as white bread. Labels like heart healthy or supports immunity are also common, especially on cereals, snacks, and drinks. These claims are often based on a single added ingredient, like vitamins or omega-3s, while ignoring the overall nutritional profile of the product. A cereal loaded with sugar might boast its high fiber content, diverting attention from its unhealthy aspects. Even products labeled sugar-free can be misleading. While they may not contain table sugar, they often include artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose. These additives are controversial, with some studies suggesting they may have negative effects on gut health and metabolism. The result? You might avoid sugar, but still face other potential health risks. The key to avoiding these traps is understanding food labels beyond the marketing buzzwords. Check the ingredient list and nutritional information to get the full picture. Look out for hidden sugars under names like high fructose corn syrup, maltodextrin, or cane syrup. Pay attention to serving sizes. Many products use small portions to make their nutritional content appear healthier. In the next chapter, we'll go beyond labels and explore what you can do to avoid falling victim to these deceptive tactics. You'll learn practical tips for identifying truly healthy foods and replacing harmful options with better alternatives. Stay with us. It's time to decode the truth about your food and take control of your health. What to avoid and safer alternatives. Now that you know how processed foods, additives, and misleading labels can harm your health, the big question is, what can you do about it? The good news is that making healthier choices doesn't have to be overwhelming. By learning what to avoid and discovering safer alternatives, you can take control of your diet and protect yourself from the hidden dangers lurking in everyday foods. Let's start with the foods you should steer clear of. Processed snacks like chips, cookies, and crackers are some of the worst offenders. These foods are often loaded with trans fats, excessive sodium, and artificial flavors, designed to make you crave more while offering little to no nutritional value. Instead of reaching for a bag of chips, try swapping it with air pop popcorn seasoned with herbs or roasted nuts, which provide healthy fats and protein. Another category to avoid is sugary beverages, including sodas, energy drinks, and even some flavored teas and juices. These drinks are packed with high fructose corn syrup and other sweeteners that can spike your blood sugar and lead to long-term health issues like diabetes. A great alternative is infused water with slices of lemon, cucumber, or berries for natural flavor without the sugar overload. Unsweetened herbal teas and sparkling water are also excellent options. Refined grains like white bread, white rice, and regular pasta are another trap to avoid. They lack the fiber and nutrients found in whole grains and can cause blood sugar spikes similar to sugary foods. Switch to whole grain bread, brown rice, or quinoa for more fiber and sustained energy. Zucchini noodles or spaghetti squash are also fantastic substitutes for traditional pasta. When it comes to meats, processed options like bacon, sausages, and deli meats should be consumed sparingly or avoided altogether. These foods often contain nitrates and nitrites, which have been linked to cancer and other health risks. Instead, opt for fresh, lean cuts of meat like chicken breast, turkey, or fish. Plant-based proteins such as lentils, chickpeas, and tofu are also great choices. It's equally important to limit foods high in artificial additives and preservatives, such as frozen dinners, instant noodles, and packaged sauces. These meals may save you time, but their long ingredient lists often include harmful chemicals. Instead, consider preparing simple homemade meals in advance. Use fresh herbs and spices for flavor and control what goes into your food. One of the best ways to ensure you're eating healthier is to focus on whole, unprocessed foods. Fill your plate with fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and lean proteins. These nutrient-dense options not only taste great, but also provide your body with the vitamins and minerals it needs to thrive. Finally, take the time to read ingredient labels carefully. The fewer ingredients a product has, and the more recognizable they are, the better. Avoid anything with a long list of unpronounceable chemicals or hidden sugars. In the next chapter, we'll wrap up by exploring how small changes in your daily habits can lead to significant improvements in your health. Stay tuned. It's time to put what you've learned into action and take the first step toward a healthier, more vibrant life. Conclusion: take control of your diet. After uncovering the hidden dangers in processed foods, misleading labels, and overconsumption, one thing becomes clear: the power to transform your health lies in your hands. What you eat every day can either nourish your body or silently harm it. The question now is, what will you choose? The good news is that making better dietary choices isn't about drastic overhauls. It's about small, consistent changes that add up over time. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned, from trans fats and refined sugars to artificial additives and misleading marketing claims. The food industry often prioritizes profits over health. These ingredients are designed to make food addictive, convenient, and cheap. But at what cost? Chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and even cancer are on the rise, and much of it can be traced back to what's on our plates. But it doesn't have to stay this way. The first step in reclaiming your diet is awareness. By understanding the hidden dangers in the foods you consume, you're already ahead of the game. Knowledge is your greatest weapon in navigating the grocery aisles and making informed choices. Instead of being swayed by flashy packaging or buzzwords like low fat and natural, you now know how to dig deeper, read labels, and question what you're putting into your body. Next, focus on small, actionable steps. Start by swapping out one processed item for a whole food alternative each week. Replace sugary cereals with oatmeal, topped with fresh fruits and nuts. Trade soda for sparkling water infused with natural flavors like lemon or mint. Gradually, these swaps will become habits, and you'll find yourself craving the wholesome goodness of natural foods over the artificial allure of processed snacks. Cooking at home is another game changer. When you prepare meals yourself, you have complete control over the ingredients. You can experiment with fresh herbs and spices, discover new recipes, and enjoy the satisfaction of knowing exactly what's going into your body. If time is a concern, consider meal prepping on weekends so you have healthy, ready-to-eat options during busy weekdays. But what about dining out or indulging occasionally? Remember, balance is key. It's not about perfection, but making mindful choices. When eating out, opt for grilled or steamed options instead of fried foods. Savor indulgent treats in moderation, knowing they're an occasional pleasure rather than a daily habit. Finally, take a moment to appreciate the benefits of these changes. By reducing your intake of harmful ingredients and prioritizing whole nutrient-dense foods, you'll start to feel the difference in your energy levels, mood, and overall well-being. Your body will thank you for the care and attention you're giving it. As we wrap up this journey, ask yourself, what's the next step you'll take to improve your diet? The choices you make today can have a profound impact on your health tomorrow. The power is in your hands, so take control, start small, and commit to a healthier, happier you. Thank you for watching, and remember, your health is your greatest asset. Make it count.